Hello and welcome, my literary explorers. You are watching a video lesson in 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world. Are you ready to start the day right by learning new and amazing things? Come join me as we upgrade our literary skills. I am teacher Rodney Garcia from Ujawan National High School. Hop on this ride and I will be your learning guide. Please be ready with your pen, paper, and module number 2. Let's also observe the basic health protocols. Alright, are you ready? Let's begin. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to 1. Enumerate the different conventional and emerging literary genres. 2. Evaluate the given literary piece based on its genre and content. 3. Exhibit appreciation of the unique features of each genre by sharing personal experiences. And number 4. Transform a local story into a modern literary text. In the previous lesson, we traced the development of Philippine literary history from the pre-colonial period up to the contemporary period. Let's see if you still remember what you've learned through a knowledge check. Can you give me one example of pre-colonial literature? That's right. Some of the pre-colonial literature include folk tales, folk songs, myth, legends, and epics. If your answer is one of these, then you have a brilliant memory. Can you also give me one literary period in our Philippine history? That's great. I believe you are ready to jump to the next lesson. You've learned the different literary genres specific to each period in our history. This time, let's focus on today's century as we answer the question, what literary genres are featured in the 21st century? In today's time, new literary genres are emerging. Collectively, we call these as 21st century literature. You may think of 21st century literature as new flavors of your favorite snacks or unique fashion trends that are gaining attention in the community. 21st century literature refers to new literary works made within the last decade. It is created by contemporary or present-day authors. These literary works deal with current themes and issues and reflect a technological culture. It often breaks traditional writing rules. With the emergence of 21st century literature comes the 21st century reader. 21st century readers grew up using technology as a primary learning tool. They are capable of navigating and interpreting digital formats and media messages. They also have technological literacy skills like keyboarding, internet navigation, and the ability to evaluate information. So, who are these 21st century readers? I'll give you a hint. It has 3 letters. That's right. You are the 21st century reader. Hence, this lesson is really for you. Let's gear up, my 21st century readers, as we take on challenge number 1, Literary Pool. Look for the 4 conventional literary genres in the puzzle. I'll give you 20 seconds to find them. Ready? Time starts now. Time's up! What four conventional literary genres have you found in the puzzle? We have poetry, drama, fiction, and non-fiction. When we say conventional, these are the traditional and most common literary work of the times. Let's recall the major literary genres. Poetry. Poetry is an imaginative awareness of experience expressed through meaning, sound, and rhythmic language. It brings out an emotional response. Poetry is nearly impossible to define because it is always an authentic mode of expression. Drama. Drama is a composition in prose or verse that is presented through dialogue or pantomime. It has a story involving conflict, and it has to be acted on a stage. Fiction. Fiction is literature created from the imagination, though it may be based on a true story. Some types of literature in the fiction include the novel, short story, and novella. Non-fiction. Non-fiction is based on facts and the author's opinion about a subject. The purpose of non-fiction writing is to inform and sometimes to persuade. Its examples are biographies, articles from textbooks, and magazines and newspapers. So, what are the traditional or conventional literary genres? We have poetry, drama, fiction, and non-fiction. Amazing! You have the making of a 21st century reader. Do the four genres ring any bell? That's right! You already encountered the four genres in your English and Filipino subjects in the junior high school. Remember these literary pieces? We have The Necklace by Guy de Maupassant, The Centipede by Ronnie V. Diaz, The World is an Apple by Alberto S. Florentino, and Jose Garcia Villa's poem, God Said I Made a Man. What other conventional literary pieces did you discuss in class? Alright, we will be back with some reminders. Stay tuned.
Kaibigan, huwag ka na munang lumabas ng inyong bahay, maliban na lang kung bibili ng pagkain o may emergency. Tandaan ang mga sumusunod. Kung kailangang lumabas ng bahay, magsuot ng mask. Siguruhing may 1 metro ang layo sa ibang tao. Magdala lagi ng alcohol o alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Huwag hawakan ang iyong mukha. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
And we're back, my literary explorers. Earlier, we discussed the four traditional or conventional literary genres. This time, let's proceed to the 21st century literature. Graphic novel. Graphic novels are narratives presented in comic book formats. The broad term may involve non-fiction works and short stories of the same themes and other works of fiction. An example in the Philippines is the Mythology class by Arnold Are and Trece by Budget Tan and Kadjo Baldissimo. Manga. Manga is a Japanese word for comics. It is a generic term for all comic books and graphic novels originally published in Japan. There are various manga for every type of reader. Examples of popular manga are Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, and even Doraemon. One favorite of mine is Shingeki no Kyojin by Hajime Isayama. How about you? As a 21st century reader, I'm sure you have your favorite manga too. Next is doodle fiction. This is a literary presentation where the author combines doodle writing, drawings, and handwritten graphics in place of the traditional text. The drawing enhances the story, often adding humorous elements. Examples include The Diary of a Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kinney. Chick literature. Also known as chick lit, this genre of fiction contains issues about modern womanhood. Chick lit typically features a female protagonist whose femininity or womanhood drives the movement of the plot. Scarlett Bailey's The Night Before Christmas and Miranda Dickinson's It Started with a Kiss are examples of this. Another is flash fiction. This is a style of fiction of extreme brevity. When we say brevity, it means they are usually short. Although there's no standard length and structure, flash fiction can range from a few words to 1,000. Examples of Filipino flash fiction are Bettina by Gemino H. Abad and Sayan Abad Hugo's Earthbound. Six-word flash fiction is popularized by Ernest Hemingway and Margaret Atwood. From the name, it contains 6 words that can convey a story. This is one example from Hemingway. Creative nonfiction is a genre of writing that uses literary styles and techniques to create narratives that are based on facts. 1,000 Gifts by Anne Voskamp and Wind, Sand, and Stars by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry are some examples. Science fiction is a genre of speculative fiction which deals with imaginative concepts such as futuristic science and technology, space travel, time travel, parallel universe, and extraterrestrial life. It often explores the potential consequences of scientific and other innovations and has been called a literature of ideas. Examples include Susan Collins' The Hunger Games series and Jose Maria Espino's Orbit 21. Weblog. A weblog is a website containing short articles called posts that change regularly. It contains one's opinions, interests, and experiences. Finally, we have hyperpoetry. Also known as cyberpoetry, hyperpoetry uses links and hypertext markup. It can either involve words, phrases, lines that look like a traditional poem but has parts that move and transform. Readers move from one website to another because of the embedded links in the words. It is usually found online. Those are just some of the hundreds of emerging genres in the 21st century. Can you name again the 10 modern genres? Don't worry, I'll help you. Let's try to enumerate what we discussed. We have graphic novel, manga, doodle fiction, chick lit, flash fiction, 6-word story, creative non-fiction, science fiction, weblog, and hyperpoetry. Did you get all of them? I hope so. This time, let's go to challenge number 2. What am I? Read and analyze the content of the text and identify its literary genre. I'll give you a minute. Are you ready? Gratitude by Andrew E. Hunt. The streetlights were a warm welcome from the oncoming chill of darkness. The park bench's curvature felt familiar under his tired old spine. The wool blanket from the Salvation Army was comfortable around his shoulders, and the pair of shoes he'd found in the dumpster today fit perfectly. God, he thought, isn't life grand? Does it contain a story? Yes, it does. Is the story presented in few words? Yes. So, what kind of genre is this? If your answer is flash fiction, then you are correct. Before we proceed to the final task, let's have a quick break.
Para malabanan ang COVID-19, ang kailangan natin ay tama at totoong impormasyon, hindi fake news. Huwag ka agad maniniwala sa nababasa at naririnig. Ang pagkalat ng mga maling paniniwala tungkol sa COVID-19 ay nagdudulot ng panik, takot at maling desisyon. Laging i-double check kung saan nanggaling ang nabasa o narinig. Maging mapanuri at i-share lamang ang tamang impormasyon. Sa wastong pag-iingat, ang virus hindi kakalat. COVID-19, kayang-kaya nating tapusin.
And we are back once more. A while ago, we identified the genre of one text. If you still need a bit of practice, kindly answer the test found on page 14 of your module. Again, answer the text found on page 14 of your module. Meanwhile, let's proceed with your final task. Text transform. Let's try to transform a legend into a modern literary work. The title of this story is The Legend of the Magat River. As a Vizcayano, I think you are familiar with this legend. If not, you can read it by clicking the link below. Your task is to retell the story using a modern literary genre. Choose only one genre from the suggestions. For those of you who have a talent in writing, write a flash fiction of no more than 50 words. For those of you who are visually inclined, make a one-page doodle fiction. For those who have artistic talent, draw a 4-panel comic strip. And for those who are nature smart, write a poem about the Magat River. Again, choose only one genre. Afterwards, upload your work on our Facebook group with the given hashtag. You may use the rubric as your guide. And with that, let's summarize what we learned today. We discussed the 4 different conventional literary genres and the 10 21st century literary genres. We also evaluated the given literary piece based on its genre and content. We also expressed our appreciation of each genre by sharing our personal experiences. And we finally transformed an old story into a modern one. Here are some questions for you. Why is there a need to learn the new genres of literature in the 21st century? Exactly, it is needed for self-expression, for conveying one's thoughts, and for reflecting issues in our society. Now, what DepEd core values can help you in appreciating our own local literary works in the current century? Among the DepEd core values, our being makabayan helps us understand these works and proliferate the writing of literary texts that can enrich the Filipino culture. My dear 21st century readers, you've witnessed how rich the world is with literature. From pre-colonial period until today, literature continues to exist. We also learned that literature also changes according to the times. I hope that you'll encounter more literary pieces that will shape your views, since reading literature is very important. As P.T. Barnum said, literature is one of the most interesting and significant expressions of humanity. There are more things we can learn as we go on with our literary adventure. This is Rodney Giverson V. Garcia, your learning guide. See you on the next ride.